name is Kawena. I think we've all learned that over the semester. But today I want to talk to you about China's one-child policy. So that's the title of my speech. So there's a problem that affects us all. Everyone, every single man, woman, and child on Earth. And that problem is overpopulation. There are currently 77,760,939 people on this planet, roughly estimated by the census.government.com. Census.gov. Anyways, that's a lot of people if we think about it in perspective. But there are some countries that have that this problem affects more than us, more than everyone else. And one of those countries is China. China's current population, estimated for July of this year, is 1,349,585,838 people. So that's roughly 1/7 of the population of the entire world. So overpopulation, which in itself is the problem of having too much people on the earth because there's not enough resources, that's a problem that China has to face every single day. Back in 1978 and 1979, they were problem solving and trying to come up with a solution for overpopulation. And their solution was a policy called the one-child policy. Basically what it does is it limits one child per couple. So there are exceptions. So say if you have twins, you can keep both of them. You don't have to choose one child. And there are exceptions to the rule. So people who do have financial means and are able to spend more money are allowed to have more than one child for a price. But for the most part, people are limited to one child. And today I want to talk to you about this policy because I believe it's unethical, it promotes sexism, and it creates new problems for our population. So it's, all in all, doesn't work. And that's what I'm trying to persuade you today, that one-child policy doesn't work. And in this day and age, I believe that there are other methods that we can use towards overpopulation, but today I'm just going to highlight the one-child policy and show you the flaws with it. Like I said, it's unethical, promotes sexism, and doesn't solve the problem, but adds to it. For the first problem, it's unethical. People who are enforcing the one-child policy is an agency called the National Family Planning Office. Now these people, they go door to door, and they take census of the population, but they also enforce the rule. They find families, they do it quite brutally, to be quite honest. In a documentary about the one-child policy, the fine to have another child, according to one family, was about 4 times their annual salary. So think about that. The amount of money that your mom and dad makes together, times 4, is the amount that the government would charge you to have another brother or child. One family in particular, they had 2 sons. One was 12 and the other was 27. They had the 27-year-old son at a young age, so they wanted another child to take care of them in their old age. And because of this fines that they had to pay out, they were in poverty for years. They said they ate porridge for years. Neighbors who refused to pay the fines, these officers from the National Planning Family, they came over and they would burn down their houses. They would take away all their possessions, and in one case, in February of this year, officers took a 13-month-old baby boy from his parents because they refused to pay the fine or they couldn't pay the fine. And they took him and put him under the wheel of one of their vehicles, and they crushed the baby boy to death. Yeah, it's brutal the way that they enforce these policies. And the sad thing about it is that these officers, they get paid bonuses for the amount of children and for the ability to deal with the problem. So they actually get bonuses for killing off children. Another unethical thing that happens with these officers in this policy is they have forced abortions through saline solutions. So women, they could be pregnant up to 8.5 months, even 9 months. They will inject saline solutions into them, forcing abortions and killing off the babies if they cannot pay the fine. And in worst case, when the woman is in labor and they cannot afford the baby, and the doctors, they'll kill the baby in the middle of birth. They'll kill them in the birth canal or immediately after. And this results in millions of kids being slaughtered because the families can't afford to pay it off the government. So it is all in all unethical. So now that I've talked about why this policy is unethical, I want to talk about the sexism that it promotes. In China, like many other countries, boys are preferred to girls. And it's for the obvious reasons. Boys are physically bigger, stronger, and they're able to work on farms at younger ages. But boys, because the poverty level is so low, they want boys to continue the family work and to pass on the family name. Girls simply, they can't afford them because they have to arrange marriages and they have to come up with dowry for the marriages. And also, a big thing that they have is the 1-2-4 policy. Basically, one child has the responsibility to take care of 2 parents and 4 grandparents. That's what they expect. And boys, they believe, are just capable of doing that better than girls are. For the main reason is because girls, when they marry off, they go with the family of the husband lives with. And so the parents will have no one to take care of them in their old age. So why is this a problem? Because it's creating, basically people are aborting girls like nothing. Millions of girls a year are being aborted just because they're girls. In fact, the problem has gotten so bad that in ultrasounds, China has made it illegal for doctors to tell their patients what the sex of their child is. Because they will self-abort their babies, or they'll go in the black market and pay someone off to abort the child for them. However, the black market is also having a problem with the ultrasounds, because for about $20 US, they can buy ultrasound equipment and do ultrasounds by their own and do the abortions. And so it's medically not safe for these people because they're having people who are doctors perform abortions, and these aren't medical professionals, so their readings could be wrong. It may not even be a girl or a boy, and it's just an all-over bad loss for everyone. And so now that I talked about the sexism, I'm going to talk about the fact that this solution just doesn't work. It honestly does not work. Because we're wedding all these girls, there's an overwhelming amount of guys versus girls. Because people in poverty who are of the working class want the boys, a lot of the people who are in the lower class have male children. And over the years, it's created this gender imbalance. Women, they go towards men of higher class since there are less of them. And so that kind of leaves, it lowers the poverty level even more. So there are some statistics that I have about the amount of women versus men in China. In some places, there can be 130 men to 100 women, and in some places it can be as bad as 170 men per 100 women. And maybe that doesn't seem like such a big difference now, but if you look back to the billion number that they have in China, that's a lot of people. In fact, according to the USA Today's article, over the next 2 decades, as many as 40 million young Chinese men will be able to marry, settle down, and start families. There simply won't be enough wives to go around. So we've created this gender imbalance. And all in all, the one policy does not work. You're limiting human rights and telling someone how big their family can be. And actually, the way the government enforces it through the agencies is bad. And on top of the gender balance, they have these big propaganda posters in China trying to tell people that women are equal to men. But nobody's believing it. It's not working. So, all in all, today I hope that I informed you and brought light to the issue of the one-child policy, that it does not work, how it is unethical, how it is sexist, and how it creates a gender imbalance, and it's all over bad for the world. So this is just one solution that doesn't work towards overpopulation. And I believe in this day and age, with things like birth control and other options that can help us limit overpopulation.